Hey, man.
Hey, Nick. It's an honor to be speaking with you. How are you doing?
It's my pleasure to be speaking with you, Harrison. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great today. So, your new band, CRX, is coming to Coda this Saturday, November 19th, and you recently released your album, New Skin. So, can you tell me, where did the name CRX come from?
It's the car. Have you ever heard of the Honda CRX? Do you know that car? It might be a little before your time.
Japanese car?
Small Japanese hatchback from the 80s. Most people think it's kind of a crappy car. Some people like it. I like it. But you know, it doesn't really come from the car. When we were making the album, we would sometimes use this drum machine called a CR78, and we would use this drum machine and mix the sound of the drum machine with our normal drums, and then I don't know. Over time, we started calling the drum machine the CRX because I mean it's kind of weird, long, convoluted story. I'll get into it if you want. The dude who produced the record, his name's Josh Hans. He plays Queen Stone Age. And he'd be working on certain songs, and he'd get these weird visuals in his head. And one of them was during this song, Walls, while we were making that song, he kept on saying that it reminded him of this punk rock dude with a really tall mohawk in a Honda CRX, just shredding and drifting through the deserted streets of Tokyo in some kind of like post-apocalyptic Tokyo. So, and he would keep on coming back to this, and we were using that drum machine, the CR78, so this kind of became the CRX, and then I don't know, the whole thing kind of came about that way. I know it's kind of a weird name. Some people ask me how to pronounce it because I guess there's a lot of bands that it's become kind of a trendy thing for bands to take the vowels out of their name for some reason. Mm-hmm. So people will ask me, is it pronounced Crix or Crux or Crooks or Crack? But it's just 3 letters, the CRX.
Yes.
People also ask me what it stands for, and it doesn't really stand for anything. I got nothing there.
All right. So, in past interviews, you said one of the reasons that you started CRX was to get out on the road, play clubs at smaller venues, to create some sort of balance between the big festivals that you play with the Strokes. Do you see CRX playing festivals and bigger gigs, or is that something you only see yourself doing exclusively with the Strokes?
No, I definitely want to do that with CRX. Definitely. I mean, at the beginning, you know, when I first had the idea to start this new band, it really was because I really had the urge to be on stage more and to, like you said, play smaller places and book a tour, go out on tour, have fun with my friends. And now CRX has kind of evolved into this band and an entity in its own right, and you know, the goal for it now is to continue to do that, but also just really to have this thing that I could kind of pick up whenever I want and take on tour or play a charity show or play a party or you know, kind of do different stuff creatively. Out, you know, maybe not have to worry about sticking to specific genres or ideals or instrumentation. You know, just kind of like another outlet, I guess, which I think is really healthy to have. You know, I didn't used to think that way when the other guys in the Strokes all started doing side projects. To be honest, a little bit missed about that for a while, but I've come now to realize that it's better this way. It makes the time when we come together as Strokes healthier and more productive, more constructive.
Yes. I totally agree with you. So as a fellow songwriter and musician myself, I wanted to ask you, how did you approach writing songs for this album, and what exactly is your background in songwriting?
Well, I was kind of a late bloomer, I think, as a songwriter. I didn't really start writing full songs until, I guess, around the Strokes' third album. Before that, it was all just kind of, riffs and chords and kind of deconstructed ideas. So yeah, I started pretty late, man.
Yeah.
I was more just a kind of player before that, and down to play things and be technical, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I've kind of fallen into the songwriting thing, and I write a ton of music for the Strokes, and write songs for other artists and with other artists, do a bunch of co-writing too. And now I got this band CRX. I'm really doing the lion's share of the writing with that, and
yeah,
having fun with it, man. It's fun to kind of get to shut off the critical part of your brain and like the editing part of your brain a little bit. Just be free and spit stuff out. It's fun.
Yeah. So what song off the album that you wrote means the most to you, per se?
I don't know. They're all meaningful to me.
Yeah.
To be honest, man, there was more. I wrote more for the album. There's other stuff that didn't make it to the album, and they all mean a lot to me, just in different ways. I guess it's tough to pick a favorite. I'm sorry, that's such a crappy answer to your question. I'm just so bad at picking favorites. People ask me all the time, what's my favorite song, or what's my favorite album, or and I want to play along, but I've got some kind of psychological block with picking favorites. I really suck at it. There's too many things to pick favorites for me.
My next question I have for you, so you played a few shows with Beck this fall, and I heard you were a pretty big fan of his music. How was touring with him, and also, do you have a favorite album of his?
Touring with him was great. I've actually, since moving to LA about 8 years ago, I've become kind of close with him, so we get to hang out. We spend Thanksgiving together. But yeah, I've known him for a long, long time. We first met probably 2000 or 2001, really early on in Strokes days. But it was fun, man. He's a bud, and it was really cool to tour with him. His show is so extraordinary. His band puts on really one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. And it was great to open for him.
Yes. So I have heard that the Strokes are in the beginning stages of writing a new album. Will we see you singing?
That's true.
Yes. Will we see you singing any lead vocals on any of those songs? I know it's very early, or is that just going to be something that Julian's going to continue doing?
Yeah, Julian's the singer in the Strokes, man. Just because I'm singing with a new band, or Albert sings in his band, or Nikolai or whatever. I really like Julian's voice, and I think he's a great singer, and no one's better suited in the band to do it than him. So I think we'll keep him in that role.
All right. With the success that you've achieved with New Skin, do you plan on making more albums with CRX? And if so, can you see yourself experimenting with other types of genres?
Yeah, I want CRX to be a thing that continues and keeps on touring and does as many shows as possible, really. And that's also what's cool about it for me is to have this new creative outlet. And I do want to try different stuff. I don't want to be bound by a certain genre or specific instrumentation or any specific kind of vibe. I really want to be able to be free to go in all kinds of directions with this. So yeah, that's actually the idea for the future. And
Yes.
I'm already thinking about this. I'm already thinking about a second album for CRX.
Looking forward to that.
Thanks, man.
My last question that I have for you, what advice can you give songwriters regarding collaborating and creating new music?
My advice would be to to really make sure that the people you're collaborating with are really, really talented, and to try to surround yourself with people who are who inspire you and who bring out the best in you. I mean, that's what collaboration is all about.
Yes.
And try to link up with people who you can learn from.
Yes, it's very good advice.
And I mean, in terms of advice for a songwriter, I mean, I think it's advice that applies to any creative endeavor. But when you're starting something out and you're very early on in the process, and you're just really at the very beginning of an idea, you really want to be careful about letting any kind of part of your brain that critiques or edits or analyzes. You really want to keep that at bay until it's necessary, because that can ruin the idea, bringing that guy in a little too early. And that's something I struggled with for a long time, and I'm just kind of getting into the hang of being able to find that sweet spot where you shut off certain parts of your brain. It's just going with the flow, man. Going with the flow.
That was my last question.
Thank you for the chat, man.
Yes, Nick, thanks again. And I will be at the show Saturday. I can't wait to see you guys there.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Nick is performing with his band CRX at Coda this Saturday, November 19th. The show is going to be great, and I encourage you all to check out their new album, New Skin.